Summer is here, and everything you need for adventure is waiting at shockshop.us. Gear up with camping essentials, stylish bathing suits for fun in the sun, reliable generators for every outdoor trip, kayaks, dinghies, and water toys for non-stop excitement. From backyard fun to lakeside escapes, shackshop.us has it all. Shop the summer sale now and save big at shackshop.us.
2 deaths, 1 remote safari estate, and a growing list of questions that investigators are still trying to answer. What initially appeared to be a tragic accident has evolved into a far more complicated and mysterious investigation involving a prominent German shipping family, a luxury hunting reserve in South Africa, and the deaths of 2 people who reportedly shared a close professional and personal relationship. Within the span of roughly a single day, both a financial manager and a young businesswoman connected to a wealthy European family were discovered dead on the same private property. Authorities have confirmed that firearms were involved, yet many of the key details remain unclear. What happened during those crucial hours? Were the 2 deaths connected? What evidence are investigators examining? And why has this case generated attention far beyond South Africa's borders? Today we take a detailed look at the timeline, the people involved, the investigation, and the unanswered questions surrounding a case that continues to attract international scrutiny. The estate at the centre of the story, the events unfolded at a private safari and hunting reserve located in South Africa's Limpopo Province. Limpopo is known for its vast landscapes, wildlife reserves, game farms, and luxury hunting lodges that attract visitors from around the world. Many wealthy families maintain properties in the region, using them as retreats, conservation projects, tourism ventures, or hunting destinations. The estate linked to this investigation reportedly served multiple purposes. It functioned not only as a private residence, but also as a destination for guests seeking an exclusive safari experience. Remote properties like these can be enormous in size. Distances between buildings may stretch for hundreds of yards or even miles. Security systems, private roads, staff housing, hunting facilities, and wildlife management infrastructure are often integrated into daily operations. Because of their isolated nature, events occurring on such estates can be difficult to reconstruct without witness testimony, physical evidence, and extensive forensic work. That challenge now sits at the heart of the investigation. The people involved. At the center of the case is Caroline von Rantzau. At just 26 years old, she was regarded as part of a well-known German business family with long-standing ties to international shipping. Friends and acquaintances reportedly described her as energetic, ambitious, and deeply invested in her life in South Africa. According to reports, she had increasingly established roots in the region and was pursuing various projects connected to the estate and surrounding properties. Those who knew her reportedly said she loved wildlife and spent significant time caring for animals. She was also said to have enjoyed hunting, a common activity at many private game reserves in the area. Alongside her was Arno Koën, a 44-year-old financial manager who reportedly played a significant role in the operation of the property. Accounts suggest that he managed finances, guest arrangements, bookings, and administrative responsibilities connected to the estate. Individuals familiar with the pair reportedly described their relationship as close and built on trust. Some reports suggest Koën served not only as an advisor, but also as a mentor figure. That connection has naturally become an important focus of public attention as investigators work to determine what occurred. A timeline begins to emerge. The sequence of events has become one of the most important aspects of the case. Investigators are reportedly attempting to establish exactly what happened during a period spanning roughly 2 days. According to publicly reported information, Koën was discovered dead first. Reports indicate he had suffered a gunshot wound. Authorities later confirmed that a firearm was involved in his death. At that point, investigators were already dealing with a potentially complex scene. Then, approximately 1 day later, another tragedy unfolded. Witnesses reportedly heard gunshots coming from the area where Caroline von Rantzau was located. Soon afterward, she too was found dead. The revelation that firearms were involved in both deaths dramatically changed public understanding of the situation. What had initially circulated as an accidental death narrative quickly became the subject of deeper investigation. The proximity in time and location naturally raised questions regarding whether the incidents were connected. Authorities, however, have remained cautious and have not publicly announced conclusions. The initial confusion, one of the factors that intensified interest in the case, was confusion surrounding early reports. In the immediate aftermath, information reportedly circulated indicating that von Rantzau had died in a vehicle-related accident. Such reports often emerge during the early stages of developing investigations when facts remain uncertain. As forensic evidence was gathered and authorities examined the scene, however, a different picture began to emerge. Police later confirmed that firearms played a role. The discrepancy between early accounts and subsequent findings generated additional public curiosity. Observers began asking whether initial information had been incomplete, misunderstood, or simply released before investigators had established the facts. Situations like this are not uncommon in major investigations. Early reports can evolve significantly as evidence is collected and analyzed. Still, the shift from an accident narrative to a firearm-related death ensured that attention on the case would intensify. The investigation. Investigations involving deaths on large rural estates often require extensive forensic work. Authorities must answer a series of critical questions. When did each death occur? What weapons were involved? Who had access to those weapons? Who was present on the property? What communications took place before the incidents? Were there witnesses? What physical evidence exists? Investigators typically collect ballistic evidence, examine electronic communications, review surveillance footage if available, analyze phone records, and conduct interviews with everyone who may have relevant information. The process can take weeks or months. Autopsies often play a central role. Medical examinations can provide insight into timing, injuries, toxicology findings, and other factors that help investigators reconstruct events. In many cases, autopsy findings become one of the most important sources of objective evidence. Why this case attracted international attention? The story quickly spread beyond South Africa. Part of the reason lies in the family's business background. The von Rantzau name is associated with a prominent German shipping dynasty that has maintained a presence in international trade for decades. Shipping remains one of the foundations of global commerce. Families involved in maritime transportation frequently develop extensive business networks spanning continents. As a result, any major event involving members of such families can attract attention from international media. The combination of wealth, business influence, international connections, and unusual circumstances surrounding the deaths created a story that resonated far beyond the region where it occurred. Questions investigators may be asking. Although authorities have not publicly disclosed many details, investigators are likely examining numerous possibilities. Among the questions that commonly arise in cases involving multiple deaths on a single property are: was there any connection between the incidents? Did either individual face personal, financial, or professional pressures? Were there disputes involving estate operations? What was the sequence of movements on the property? Who last saw each individual alive? What evidence exists regarding their final hours? Again, these are investigative questions rather than conclusions. Authorities have not publicly announced evidence supporting any specific theory. The purpose of such inquiries is simply to establish facts and eliminate uncertainty. The challenge of reconstructing events. One reason cases like this can take time to resolve is that investigators must carefully separate facts from speculation. Public attention often generates rumors. Social media discussions can introduce claims that lack supporting evidence. Witness accounts may differ. Memories can be incomplete. Physical evidence, therefore, becomes critical. Ballistic examinations, forensic testing, and digital records frequently provide more reliable timelines than recollections alone. Investigators must compare all available information before reaching conclusions. The human impact. Behind every headline are real people. Families, friends, employees, and community members are often left struggling to understand what happened. For those connected to the estate, the deaths reportedly came as a profound shock. Two individuals who played important roles within the same environment were suddenly gone. Questions about the future of the property, ongoing business operations, and personal relationships inevitably follow such tragedies. The emotional impact can extend across countries, particularly when international families are involved. The role of autopsies. Authorities have indicated that autopsy examinations are expected to provide important information. Medical findings can help investigators determine cause of death, manner of death, timing of injuries, presence of additional trauma, and potential toxicology findings. These details often become essential pieces of the investigative puzzle. While autopsy results rarely answer every question, they can narrow possibilities and guide further inquiry. While many questions remain at present, much of the public discussion revolves around uncertainty. Investigators have not announced arrests. No suspects have been publicly identified. Officials have not released detailed explanations regarding the circumstances surrounding either death. As a result, speculation continues. Yet experienced investigators typically emphasize patience. Major cases involving multiple scenes, multiple deaths, forensic testing, and international interest often require significant time before definitive conclusions can be reached. Conclusion: what happened at the private safari estate in Limpopo remains the central question. A respected financial manager was found dead. A young businesswoman from a prominent shipping family died roughly a day later. Both deaths involved firearms. Authorities continue examining evidence, interviewing witnesses, and awaiting forensic findings that may clarify the sequence of events. Until investigators release additional information, many aspects of the case remain unresolved. For now, the deaths of Caroline von Rantzau and Arno Koën stand as the focus of an investigation that has drawn attention across South Africa, Germany, and beyond. As new information emerges, the answers may finally reveal what occurred during those critical hours at the remote safari reserve, and whether the two tragedies were connected by circumstance, by events, or by something investigators have yet to uncover.